All right, today we are going to be doing a worksheet on genetics practice problems. It is all kind of a review from the Dragon Genetics notes that we did. So I'm going to walk through each one of these, do an example, and then you guys will do the rest to get a grade. So for number one, it says for each genotype below, indicate whether it is heterozygous or homozygous. So we learned in the notes that heterozygous means different. Let me make that a little bit bigger here. There we go. Means different. And homozygous means the same. So that means that your letters are the same or they are different. Now obviously there's two A's. All the letters here are the same letter, but do they look alike? So for this one I have two capitals, so that is the same. So I would write an HO there for homozygous. Now if I look at these E's, a capital E and a lowercase e, they are different. So we're looking at heterozygous. All right, so then I will have you guys go in and complete the rest of these. You can pause here and do that and then start it up again when you're done, or you can just go through and do the examples with me, then go back and do the worksheet. I'm going to move on to number two. Number two, it says for each of the genotypes below, determine what phenotype would possibly be. Now genotypes are, we learned with the dragons, that is the letters that we assign. So like the P's or the R's or B or T, and it doesn't matter what letter we use. The phenotypes are what I call physical. So I think of pH and pH, phenotype physical. So that's all I'm doing is I'm determining what is the physical. Is it going to be a purple flower or is it going to be a white flower? And so if I look at this, it says purple flowers are dominant. So dominant is a capital letter. And if that capital letter is there, it is that color, they're dominant. So if I have two capital P's, if I have a capital P at all, then this is going to be purple, right? If I have a capital P at all, it is going to be purple. And then of course this last one, I have two lowercase p's, and the purple flower is dominant, which means the white is recessive. So if I have two lowercase, then it's got to be white. Now I will have you guys do the brown eyes to blue, the round, and then the bobtails and longtails. Number three, for each phenotype below, once again, this pH, I think of pH in the physical, list the genotype. So this time it's the opposite. They are wanting me to give letters. Now I don't care what kind of letters you use. I tend to use a letter where you can tell for sure, like a T, I can tell the capital versus the lowercase t. R's are the same way. But S's and like O's can be tricky sometimes. You have to really be exaggerated with them. So on this one, straight hair. Now the S, see I could go two capital S's or I could go two lowercase s's. And when we're typing, you can tell a difference. But sometimes when we are handwriting, it is a little hard. So I'm going to use H for hair. Doesn't matter, you could use A if you wanted. So if straight hair is dominant, then I can have capital H, capital H. That would give me straight hair. But if it's dominant, I just need one capital. So I could have one capital and a lowercase. This would be called heterozygous, but it would still give me straight hair. Now the only way I can have curly hair is to have two lowercase. That means that you got the recessive trait from each parent and you have curly hair. All right, I will let you guys do tail spikes are dominant to plain. Number four is setting up Punnett squares and doing the crosses here. So round seeds are dominant to wrinkled. So here you just need to set up the Punnett square. So here is one parent right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one parent right here, and you put one letter down one column and then you place the other letter down the second column. Here is parent number two, and I'm going to put parent number two across, not F, across one row. And then that second little r, I'm going to place it here on this second row. So now when I do the Punnett square the box, I'm going to bring the capital R down, and I'm going to bring this lowercase r across. I always put my capitals first. It is not wrong. Like this, I'll do it right here. Bring your uppercase down, bring your lowercase across. I could do this. That is not technically wrong. In my head, it looks weird though, because I always like to put my capital first, so it's just what you prefer. All right, then in this box, I'm going to bring this lowercase r down, and I'm going to bring this lowercase r across. I'm going to do the same thing for this box. Lowercase down, lowercase across. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to figure out percentages or anything like that. You are literally just filling in these boxes. All right. Now then, let's go down here. We're going to do practice with crosses. It says to show all of your work, so make sure if you're doing this on Cami that you're drawing the boxes. Or you could just on a piece of paper draw it and send me a picture of what you've done. Make sure you have the number with your work out beside it though. So on this, it says a tall plant is crossed with a short plant. So it doesn't tell me what's dominant or recessive. It doesn't come out and say, hey, tall is dominant. But if you look, a tall plant, and you see two capital T's, that means that tall must be dominant. Two lowercase t's is short. That means that must be recessive. They want to know what percentage of the offspring will be tall. So I'm going to put a square up here. Get my line. Oop, my boxes are a little off, but that's okay. All right, so my text box. I've got one plant, that is a capital T, and a capital T. I have another plant, this short plant, that is a lowercase t, and another lowercase t. So when I go to fill in this box, I will bring the top one down, that capital T, and I'll bring that lowercase across. Here in this second box, the top one, capital one down, the lowercase across. Same here. Capital T down, I'm going to bring that lowercase across. Capital T down, I'm going to bring that lowercase across. So remember, this is a probability. So they want to know what percentage of the offspring will be tall. Well, in this case, it will always be true because if you look, each one of them is the same. Like no matter what, these parents are going to have a tall plant, and I know it's going to be tall because it's got the capital in each one. And that's the only option. Unless there's some kind of mutation, that's what's going to happen. Now, most of the time, this is a probability, right? I could say, I'm going to flip a coin twice. How many times will I get heads? Well, 50% of the time. That does not mean that that's what's going to happen. I could get heads twice. So this is just the probability. So what percentage of the offspring? I'm going to put 100%. And in this case, that's what's always going to be true. Number 6, you are going to do the same thing, very similar, except look, your parents have different genetics. Number 7, heterozygous round seed plant. So it's saying some of these terms, but then it's giving you what that is. Heterozygous means different. Homozygous round seed plant. And I know that it's 2 capital R's because look, heterozygous round, you've got a capital in there and it's round. So that's your dominant trait. Number 8, I want you guys to try this out. A homozygous round seed plant. Well, look up here. Which one of these was round seed? Was that dominant or recessive? Well, if it's homozygous, this means same. I'm going to write that above there. So you know your letters have to be the same. So at this point, is it 2 capital R's or is it 2 lowercase r's? And it's crossed with the homozygous, so once again, that means same. So what are these parents? And when you do the Punnett square here, what percentage of their offspring will also be homozygous? That means what percentage of the offspring have 2 capitals or 2 lowercase? Number 9, oh, I kind of went down on the other page. Let me see if I can fix that. I don't think it's going to let me fix it on here either. Okay, it says in pea plants, purple flowers are dominant to white flowers. 2 white flowered plants are crossed. Well, they are recessive. The white is recessive. So what kind of letters are those? You need to write those out. And once again, if you're struggling with this and you're truly not sure, you just want to ask me, feel free to ask me. Go up here to number 10. A white flower plant is crossed with a plant that is heterozygous for the trait. So once again, we're dealing with this right here, purple versus white. Okay. Number 11, two plants, both heterozygous for the gene that controls flower color, are crossed. So heterozygous, once again, we're going with number 9 here, these pea plants. Number 11 is dealing with that. Number 12, we have the guinea pig. The allele for short hair is dominant. All right, so if I have a capital H, I would use H for hair. If I had a capital H, that means that it is dominant and will have short hair. So they want to know the genotypes here. And then they want to show a cross for two heterozygous. Once again, we need to know that heterozygous means different. And then they're asking, when we do this cross, how many is it going to be? It's either going to be 0%, 25%, 50%, 75%, or 100%. Right? Up here in this box, if it's none, it's 0. If you have one box, that's 25. If you have two boxes, 50. 3 would be 75, and 4 would be 100% like we had here. All right, and then what percentage of the offspring will have long hair? All right, well, long hair is going to be recessive, so you're going to have two lowercase. Okay, guys, so that is kind of walking through this worksheet. If you have any problems at all, please let me know, and I will do whatever I can to help you guys out. All right, have a great rest of your day.